Welcome everyone, Jeff ArizonaHotHomestead. In this video and the next few videos I'll put together a little playlist. And the reason why I've done this is because I've been out here for like 8 years now, 8+ years. And so I did a playlist for every single year, but I did everything on there, like I put everything in there. And I got thinking, that's just a lot of boring stuff you guys don't want to see. So what I thought of was, let's put together the top videos by viewers like you over the first 5 years. So I put together this playlist, and this is just one of those videos. I may have modified it slightly, but basically it's just a copy of that other video. So if you've already seen it, so be it. If you're new to my channel, welcome aboard. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit that little bell thing, all that good stuff. Basically, I'm building an off-grid homestead, and haven't got to the good stuff yet. I'm still just building it with these two hands, and just a little bit of help from time to time with some family and friends. And man, it's a lot of work, but it sure is pleasurable. So stay tuned. This is one of those videos. The best of the first 5 years. Jeff, ArizonaHotHomestead, and welcome back, subscribers and YouTube viewers. Look what I got here. I got a hold of my trailer, got a hold of my RV, and then I got this box there. Then I got another box over there. Basically, here's what I'm doing. On my RV, this is a hot water tank. It's a 6-gallon hot water tank. It's propane and electric. Now, this hot water tank, the tank itself leaked. And I noticed in the kitchen there was a bunch of water there. They couldn't tell where it was coming from, and sure enough, it's this guy. So I went to an auction, and believe it or not, they had, at the auction, the exact same model. Exact same. Who would have thunk it? So, today, I am replacing it with one that I hope works. It was at the auction, and it looks like it's brand new, basically. When I look at some key things, like some of the corrode that's on some of these fittings and elements and things, and then I look over there at that new one, there's like nothing, and it's all shiny and stuff. So at this auction, I bought that hot water tank, that hot water heater, $70. On sale, it's $350. Maybe the tank works, and I can just exchange out the tanks. Because even the tanks are like $150, $200 at least. So anyhow, and since I really don't have a clue on what I'm doing, I decided to just go with the auction. Besides, $70, you almost can't go wrong. So anyhow, so I've taken this guy out. Now, I should have started my video sooner, but I kind of forgot because I really wasn't too sure what the heck I was doing. So let me just kind of explain a little bit. This guy here has tabs on the end. See if I can bend these tabs back. These tabs bend like say. And you got your screw hose. So all four sides bends out like say. What happens is, that's where it attaches right here. So I gotta clean this up before I get the other one on. But it attaches right like say. Now when you go to take this guy off, you have to make sure on the inside, see how this comes out. That's your code line. So I had to make sure that was turned off. I did it from the inside access panel. And I unplugged that from the tank itself. Then there's a hot water outlet. And you shut that. I went ahead and shut that one off, and I shut that off. There's 3 shut-offs. I went ahead and shut all 3 off just to make sure. I had already drained the tank through the drain valve right here. I've already unplugged that and drained what was in it. So now all the water lines are disconnected. Then right here is the propane line. So then I went and turned off my propane. So I actually turned it off in 2 locations. Let me show you here. I have a shut off right there, and then I have a shut off on my main tank. I went ahead and shut both off. So my refrigerator's not running. I have no propane. The lines are cleared out. Then I disconnected my battery. So that line right here, where is it? Is the negative. I went ahead and just took off the negative. I still have it plugged into my solar panels, so I'm charging the battery still, but I have no power now to the trailer. So now that means I could disconnect this guy here, and as I pull it out, I have these wires here I disconnected, and then there's some other wires here that I also had to disconnect off of the old one. I've already reconnected this to the new one. And then I said, oh no, maybe I should be doing a video on this. So far it's been a lot easier than I expected. So I unscrewed all these guys around here. I undid my plumbing, shut it off, turned off the power and the propane. I unplugged the propane just by unscrewing this. That goes right here. And they had this all filled in just to bugs and other stuff and dust from getting in, I guess. So I had to cut this a little bit with a knife just to loosen it a little. It's a little bit flexible, but I still had to cut it to make sure that it wasn't gripping onto my gas line, because I don't want to take that propane line and move it too much, because even though it's copper and even though it goes into the floor down there, I still don't want to move a copper line, just because if I loosen anything by accident, then I got myself a leak, and then that leak might take forever to find, or maybe never find, and I lose propane. All that's done. As I pulled it out, it was really easy to pull out. Just kind of wiggled it around and brought it right through the hole. These wires, just kind of as you're wiggling around, the wires go around the side here. So I was able to reach in through the side and start pulling. Eventually got the wires through. Then I disconnected the wires. So now I'm putting it back together. And I said, hey, why aren't I doing a video? So I'm giving you my video. So replacement of a hot water tank. Now that I got these guys wired up, I'm going to tape them. And the only reason why I'm going to tape them is just to help keep them together. So as I push it in, it kind of stays together. Once I get it in, I'll show you what it looks like once I get it in. Oh, and also this. These guys here, I had to take these off of the other one, and look at this. When I removed them, they had put some of this seal, this brown stuff on here. I guess that's fine, but that also tightened this up so much that it was difficult to get these off. Because of all this other crud that's on here that I can't get off, I decided to go ahead and get new ones, just so I had something clean to work with. And then I went ahead and just taped them up. There's not a lot of pressure on this, so I shouldn't have too much of a problem, but I went ahead and taped up both sides of what they call the hex, because it's a hex head here, a hex head coupler, because it's a half inch on each side. So I did that on the inlet and the outlet. That's the inlet, that's the outlet. And then we're going to, let me put it in. Don't know how well you can see this here in the glare of the sun, but I got black and orange, blue to blue, white to red, and green to green. Now, I took a picture of this before I took it apart, and that way I make sure I got the wiring it back the exact same way. Same with the other 3 wires I did on the other box. So I got the same wiring nuts I put back on. And so obviously when you're dealing with wiring, you want to make sure that you color code it, mark it, do something to make sure that you get your wiring exactly the same. So let me go ahead and finish pushing this back in, and then I gotta hook up the propane. I don't know how well you can see this, but when you're putting this back in, I've got these wires up high because my propane line is coming in right about here. So wires that keep up high, propane line come down there. The reason why I'm doing that is making sure these don't get crossed. I don't want them to overlap each other or cross each other. I want them to be apart from each other so that they don't get entangled. So just a big tip when you're putting this back together on your hot water heater, your RV hot water heater, just make sure your gas line, your propane line, and your wires don't get entangled. Entangled lines, period, just are an issue. So let me finish putting it back in. Alright, so here we are getting ready to set up this propane line. This grommet here that filled in this hole right in through here, well, the grommet and this fitting here doesn't work. If that fitting wasn't there, the grommet would go on and go through that grommet with no problem. Which makes me wonder, on the old one, they had all this gunk on here. They had all this stuff around here. So it makes me wonder if they ran into the same kind of issue, and so they just filled it up with some caulking. Now you want to do this because this line here will actually leads into the cabin, into the main trailer. And if you got a gas line leak here, well, you don't want it to go through here. You'd rather it actually come outside. So what I'm going to have to do is basically kind of the same thing that they did. I'm going to hook up that gas line, and then once it's all hooked up and all tightened on the sides here and all this, then I think I'll just caulk it just like they did. So, and I'll save that grommet then for something else. But just so you know, when you're setting this up, unless you're really good with copper piping, you can cut that and refit it and all that, but I'm not good with that, so I'm not going to mess with it. So I'm just going to remove the grommet and just caulk all the rest of the hole there so gas doesn't get inside the trailer if it were to leak. So let me continue. I don't know how well you can tell, but I got a bead of caulking on here. Did it all the way around. I just used some ordinary caulking stuff just because I had it handy. So, and now I'm going to bend these over and put screws in all the holes. On these tabs here, they actually were a lot easier to bend than I expected because I just used the framework of the trailer to hold it in place and leverage, and then you just bend this with your hands. And once you got it close, then you can start putting screws in. It just brings it really together nicely. They have these great corner pieces that were already on, and that's nice because it helps close in that gap there. And there's also a screw hole there for that guy there. So let me go ahead and continue with my install of my hot water heater. Hot water heater installed on my RV. Yay! Alright. Propane line hooked up. Soap tested. Water line's hooked up. Valves opened up. And if you can hear it, I know it's pretty windy out. I don't know if you can see some flashes of stuff down in there. Well, that heating element there getting red, well, that's gas going through and another keeping it going. I put the door on, and on this door you have these hooks here, and they're pretty simple to put on. That way I can open and close my door here. So gas and electricity is back on. I've not blown a fuse. I don't smell gas. Well, it's windy out, so it's kind of difficult. But all my soap tests are fine. And everything is good. So in about 20 minutes, or I think 30 minutes, I should have 6 gallons of hot water. And I can take a hot shower instead of a cold shower. Yay! So, Jeff, Arizona Hot Homestead, and I just installed an RV hot water tank. Just to give you an idea of the tank I got. There's your numbers on it. What's that? GC6AA-10E. 6 gallons. Oops. I bought this tank at an auction for $70. Whoa! Home run. Knocked it out of the park. Sealed just fine. Looks like it's supposed to be there. So now I have a hot water tank for sale. If you want to buy it, tank leaks, I'll sell it to you for, let's see, I bought that one for 70, so I'll sell you this one for 100. No, I'm kidding. I'll probably hang on to this. There might be parts in here that maybe someday I would need. You know how it is when you're living on a homestead. You got to have parts just in case something goes bad, because after all, I'm 35 miles off grid, so it's 70 miles round trip just to go to town, to a hardware store or Walmart or a grocery store or anything like that. So having this kind of stuff laying around is pretty nice. I just need to neatly put it in my shed or something. So anyhow, that's Jeff Arizona Hot Homestead. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment on the installation of my RV hot water tank, 6 gallons, completed, baby. Actually, you know, it took me 3 hours overall, not knowing what the heck I was doing. I was double and triple checking everything. But it's working fine. I guess I'll take a shower here in a few minutes. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully you hit that subscribe button and that you share the video and do the bell and all that good stuff. Hopefully you liked the video. This here was a number of videos in what I'm in a playlist that I'm calling the best of the first 5 years, based on viewers. So the ones that have got the most views, those are the ones that I put in this playlist. And hope you enjoyed it. And guess I'll see you guys on the next video. See you. Bye. Have fun.